Welcome to On The Bit. I'm Dave from Dream Thoroughbreds, and with me is Tony from Dream Thoroughbreds. How are you, Tony?
I'm very well, David, and thank you. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be here. So thanks for the invitation.
That's
Big
right.
shoes to fill with Lenny being away.
Yeah, Lenny's in the Tattersalls Tried Horse Sale in the UK, and he'll be back next week to give us an update on how he went. Saturday, mate, Christmas Day for punters, Derby Day. Very excited. You excited?
I'm very excited. Best days of racing in the world, and even Kieran McAvoy said that in the paper this morning. As good as Royal Ascot and Pre-Arc.
And he would know, he's been all around the world. 9 group races on the card, and no fewer than 4 Group 1, so we'll get right into it. The feature race of the day, the VRC Derby, set weights for 3-year-olds over 2,500 metres. Who do you like in the Derby, Tone?
I like the Victorian Polanski. I've been on him for a while now, and I just think with Barrier 1, he maps perfectly. The more fancied runners from Sydney have drawn out wide, and I think Polanski's an each-way bet to nothing myself.
Huge Bowman on board. Lenny likes Polanski as well, mate. I think the Sydney form, personally, is stronger than the Melbourne form line. So I'm taking a form line through the Spring Champion that was raced 1 week later this year, and it's only 3 weeks lead up into the Derby this year. So I think it's a perfect launching board for this race. So Savvy Nature won last week, so taking a line through that, I think that's strong form line. But I think the value is Criterion in this race. He lines up through the Savvy Nature form and Complacent, and through their last run. He'll more than likely drop out from the start and get a very soft run through the first 1,600 metres. He just needs to find a little bit of luck to get out. But with these 3-year-olds all hitting the wall around the 200, I think the gaps will open. And he possesses a very strong finishing burst, this horse. And he's $10 fixed odds. I'll love him each way. I think Complacent is still a very good chance to win this, even though he's drawn 16. I think the field will stretch out in this race, which they tend to do in the Derby because some of the horses are a bit suspect at the distance. So if he gets in down the side, and he gets a soft run through the middle section of the race, I think he'll be in it at the 200. He's by Authorised, who won an Epsom Derby, so he will run out the 2,500 very strongly. Still very good value for mine at $5. I really like these two in the Quinella, so I fancy taking those two. But a very good race, the Derby this year. Very exciting one coming up. The next feature of the day is the Group 1 Weight for Age McKinnon Stakes over 2,000 metres. And who do you like in the McKinnons, eh?
David, I've always fancied this horse. He had a bit of a setback early in the spring, but I think he's charming. His run in the Caulfield Cup was as good as anything. The audacity to still be there at the end after going wide and all around and leading. Jetaway is, I think, a good thing in the McKinnon, David.
Yep, I think we'll be all rushing to get to the bookmakers for Jetaway in this one, Tane. Lenny likes Jetaway, I like Jetaway. He's put in 2 enormous runs this spring. He's third up here at the 2,000, which I think is probably his best distance. He needs to win to qualify for the Melbourne Cup, so you know he's absolutely going to be trying. He tended to over-race last start, so I think Bossy from Barrier 1 will just tuck him in for the first half of this race and get some cover. And when he gets out, I think he'll be too explosive for this field. Small field will help him as well. No traffic problems, and should blow this field away over the last 200.
Class runner.
The next Group 1 is the Coolmore Stud Stakes over 1,200 metres for 3-year-olds. Who do you like in the Coolmore, Tony?
Well, David, obviously there's a very short horse and a quality horse in this, and Mr. Waller himself said that he rates his horse about as good as anything we've seen, and it's hard to doubt him in terms of what he's done. So he's the one, although I can't back him at $1.70 or $1.60, whatever he might end up being. So I think the way to play this race is to have some multiples, some Quinellas, maybe even trifectas, and the ones at value that I like, I do like Missy Longstocking from Brisbane. With D Brown aboard, I think presents great value, and also at very, very long odds, Fast and Rocking. Quality horse, has had a fantastic spring so far, a little freshen up, and I think they're the 3 I'll be playing in some multiples, David.
He's trained at Flemington, so he's had education down the straight, I would imagine. Yeah, this is one of the newest stallion-making races. Zoostar's got a $20 million stud deal on the table. Should prove to be the best sprinting 3-year-old in Australia. Waller saved him for this race rather than going for the Guineas, which is probably going to pay dividends on Saturday. And with his sire, Northern Meteor, dying earlier this year. I expect this may even be his last run ever. He'll probably be put away to stud next year because he's a very valuable horse. From barrier 10, he should get all the favours. And he should be too strong for them with the times he's been running. Should really blow this field apart. I do expect big improvement also from a horse in this in Sidestep, who's also trained at Flemington, a Darley horse. They get a lot of experience down the straight, these Darley horses. So he also was put away after the Golden Rose, like Fast and Rocking. He ran fourth in that race, was a little bit unlucky, wouldn't have beaten the winner. And he's been freshened up for a tilt at this race. So I think he'll be very strong late. He'll get a bit of a tuck in. He's $11 fixed. I think he's the one for the exacta. I think Zoostar will win it, so taking the exacta in that race. And Lenny also likes Zoostar, and he's been spruiking it all spring, so that's not surprising. The final Group 1 of the day is the Weight for Age Maya Classic for fillies and mares over 1,600 metres. And who do you like in the Maya Classic, Tony?
David, I think it's a great race for the mares, and I've picked out one here because I can't go the fave.
Yep.
A bit too short for mine in an open race like this. I've gone again for Mr. D Brown, probably not a surprise to those that know me. Fire Up Fifi. I think she represents great value. Hoof on the till, great win at the track, and I just think at $7 that's the one you want to be on. There's a little favourite of mine running in the race also, and at very large odds, just crept into $21 is Benaria, and I think in terms of value, throw that in multiples, Quinellas, trifectas and the like.
Benaria's won 2 from 2 at the Flemington 1600, so she is not that bad a chance. There's no doubting that Red Tracer is a class mirror of the field, but big word of warning, she's a very vulnerable here at the 1600 metres for mine. She's a good chance to be even sitting 3 wide in the run based on the speed map. Which will make it even harder for her to win. Fire Up Fifi is a chance, going enormous in Melbourne at the moment. She was running on last start, probably wasn't suited by Caulfield and the way the race was run last start. She'll definitely be suited by the Flemington 1600. I would be all over Floria in this race if it wasn't for Luke Nolan on board. He is just not having a good run at the moment. But she's been set for this race, ran a great race first up over the 1400, second up into the mile. She'll derive enormous improvement from that run. Barrier 8, she'll be inside of Red Tracer from the start, and she'll be about 2 or 3 pairs back. I think she'll be great. Position to launch. I'm really hesitant to launch with both barrels because of Luke Nolan factor, but I will still have a little bit on her each way. The other big chance is Shani Rose for me in this race. She's flying off the back of 2 last start wins, comes into the race with a victory over Red Tracer, albeit she's worse off at the weights tomorrow. I like her because she's barrier 5, she'll get a lovely run in transvert about 3 pairs back. She'll probably get an easy run the first 800, and she'll have lots to give in the straight. She's been ridden by Brenton Abdullah, who's 2 for 2 on Shani Rose. So she's a massive chance at $9 fixed odds. Box all of our chances in Quinellas and trifectas, and I think you'll get a massive result. Lenny likes Zonza as well, the number 14 or the bottom weight in that race. Stable news, Tony, we've got a couple of horses back in work. Charles in Charge,
yep.
Back in work at Flemington with Anthony Friedman, been in work for a couple of weeks and coming along slowly. Beringer, he's back in work at Flemington. Anthony Friedman had him at the Water Walker for a month, and he will jump out in Friday fortnight. Our Lonroad colt, Tony, the 2-year-old, he's coming along really well, coping with all the work and ready to jump out in about a fortnight.
Just got to give him a name.
Yep, that name's coming through. The names have been suggested, and hopefully next week we'll let you know what his name is. And the 2-year-old Doomsday filly. A couple of weeks behind the Lonroad colt, but she's really big and strong and really coping with the work as well. So she still may get to a trial. She's just, as I said, a couple of weeks away. She's going through the barriers next week. And our 2-year-old Chestnut colt, the Turfontaine, went to Matt Laurie's a week ago, Tone.
Yep.
Matt was very impressed with his size and his scope, and has given him a couple of gallops already. We'll go through the barriers as well next week. Matt's really impressed, so looking forward to him as well.
Said he was a nice leggy type.
Yes, yeah, he's got a lot of growing to do, but he's coming along well. We've also got a winner share in the racehorse raffle, another one. It's $50 a ticket. We are drawing it on Melbourne Cup Day at our Dream function at the Domain. We'll draw it right after the Melbourne Cup, so approximately about 4 o'clock or so. So it's $50 a ticket. There's only 60 tickets, so you're 1 in 60 chance of winning. So the value of the prize is $3,000. If you want a ticket, email me at sales@dreamthoroughbreds.com.au and I'll shoot you the EFT details and send you the ticket before Tuesday. If you're not there, the winner will be, we will contact the winner even if you're not there on Melbourne Cup Day. Value bets, Tony. Who's your value bet for the weekend, mate?
My value bet is in the Get Out Stakes, David.
Yep.
And it's always good to have a good one in the Get Out
You gotta
Stakes.
get out, right?
Because then you go home with your pockets full.
That's right.
And I've got one here, race 9, number 7, Outlandish Lad. D. Brown, sorry to keep repeating myself, David, but D. Brown rode this horse in the listed race in Adelaide, went all the way to Adelaide to ride it, stormed down the outside at big odds, $20 odd, and similar odds you'll get on Saturday. And I think in a very, very open race, there's a lot of chances, a lot of value. I just think he represents great each way value, David. So Outlandish Lad for me.
Very nice return. I like Glass, so maybe box him up in Quinellas and trifectas, and a good result in the last as well. My value bets Flemington race 8, number 7, Steps in Time. Not an overly strong race for mine down the straight. I feel she gets a nice soft lead here with many unlikely to take her on. National Ruler goes on. She probably wasn't rated very well last start. I think he'll rate her very evenly through the first 600, and I think she can sprint home the last 600 in about 34 seconds, which will make it very hard to run her down. She's $11 fixed and great value for mine, and Lenny likes Lon Espresso in the sprint as value as well, and that's $9.50. On the bit special, Tony, your inaugural on the bit special. Who are you declaring for the weekend?
Okay, for my on the bit special, I am all out on Jetaway, David. I just think he represents great value. The class horse, I think he's ready. This is his race. As you mentioned, does have to win to get into the Melbourne Cup. Not that that's an issue. I just think he wins personally.
Yep. Flemington for mine, race 2, number 3, May's Dream. She ran second to Guelph in the 1,000 guineas over 1,600. She's actually bred to be better over the 2,000 metres. She's level weights. She's really the only one I want to be on. I love this race, the Wakeful, for the class mares. Generally always win it every year. She's $2.30 fixed, but take her into multiples with Jerry and everything else you like, and Lenny agrees with me. He likes May's Dream as well. Okay, Tone, this is where we put our, what's on the line, off the bit lay. Tone, who are you laying for the weekend?
Well, David, I'm definitely putting him on the line. Even money favourite, I don't think can win. Never won at the distance in 3 attempts, and that's Red Tracer, David.
Yep.
I think in a wide open Maya Classic, at $2, can't have it. Red Tracer for mine.
Yep, that's a good one. I'm laying the favourite in the Derby, Savvy Nature. I'm not really sure why he's actually come up favourite here. Only bet a pack of goats last start in the Vars, and off the back of that, he's come up favourite for this race. I think he's vulnerable against Complacent. Complacent's beaten him twice in the last 2 times they've met. I think they definitely should be reversed in the betting order, so he's off the bit for mine, Savvy Nature. So, okay, so that's at the end of a bumper edition of On the Bit for this weekend. We'll be there on Saturday around the Manning Yard looking at the horses as they parade. So good luck for a big weekend of punting, Cup Day and Oaks Day, and we'll be back for On the Bit next week as a preview to Stakes Day. See you later.
See you later.